Good morning, my brothers and my sisters. We thank God for being here. This is a great day that He has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. February 9, 2019. This is a month of great celebration. I was just blessed to be on a phone conference with a group of men, and we admonished each other to be found guilty of seeking, asking, and pursuing knowledge about our ancestors, and to be found guilty of sharing our personal experiences with our own children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. We live in a world where our lack of commitment to extracting the valuable experiences our ancestors went through in this nation is to our great detriment. How could we ever understand their struggle without sitting down and taking time to ask them about their experiences and about those things that make them who they are today? And how can our children understand us if we likewise do not take the time to sit down and share with them the experiences we also encountered in this walk? There is great confusion about our story. Most of what our children are exposed to in school each and every day is his story. We like to believe that at some point in time, our story will become just as important and valuable as his story. As we shared this morning, 10 people viewing the same reality may express it completely differently. And it doesn't mean that either one of those interpretations is 100% accurate, nor does it mean it's 100% inaccurate. It's that particular individual story. The question we ask ourselves during February, this Black History Month, is why is it not important for Black people to discuss, to question, and to share their perspectives of what makes America great or what made it ungreat? Why is it un-American or unpatriotic for one to simply continue to question the objectives, the goals, and the plans of those who so often simply tell their story? Why are we ridiculed when we ask questions that other groups are encouraged to ask? We all have the utmost respect for the tragedy and atrocities that occurred during the Great Holocaust. Yet we ourselves are oftentimes chastised for bringing up things about the history of blacks in this country. If we're not willing to ask our ancestors, and if we are not willing to share with our children those things that happened in the past, how will we use them to advance this generation or the next? So often when we bring up things about the Black history in this country, we are accused of instigating anger, hostility, and sometimes even violence. Yet I've never read where a people will have a lasting success without an appreciation for things that happened in the past. And I thank God that in my own personal experience, I've had an opportunity to live in the South, in the Midwest, in the North, and now back to the South in the Southeast. And in all of those experiences, I've been able to see the good and the bad in all people. But one of the things that has continued to shock me has been the lack of respect and the lack of reverence for those things which make us unique and different in America. Black History Month is an opportunity for all of us to share with others the relevance of our story, the relevance of the experiences that our ancestors encountered. So often we hear of the great Irish people or Italians or Polish or whatever who came to America and how they were able to build themselves up and how they were able to achieve and make the American dream such a powerful, positive reality. Why are we forbidden to do the same? When one tells of that story, it's of a relative who landed in this country with 50 cents in their pocket, or $2, or perhaps a relative who was able to obtain $1 million gift or $1 million loan. Our ancestors, some of them who came via slavery, didn't have such an opportunity. And I know and you know that all of our ancestors didn't come here enslaved, in chains. Some were free people when they came. And there are some who even believe that they came before Columbus. Yet today, we have little respect when we tell their story. Some want to even go so far as to say if you remember too much of your history or if you tell too much of your story, then perhaps you haven't grown and you haven't accepted the fact that we're no longer in slavery. Well, see, such a person has no clue as to what they're speaking of. Because what's happened in this country is that an even more sophisticated form of slavery has emerged. A form that does not need chains and locks and has no need for sales and incarceration methods. Because it's already enslaved us mentally. It's already won the battle in the mind. Our purpose in this particular communication is simply to encourage all of us who have an experience in this country as a black person or as a white person or red, yellow, or whatever ethnicity you desire to attach to your reality, is that we learn to respect the differences in each other, and we learn to allow each one of us to express our own story from our perspective, that we not be forced to accept and then regurgitate a narrative that would discount the reality of our experience or the experience of our ancestors. Is that such an unreasonable request? That we simply be given the same opportunity to share our story? And remember, as I close this short communique, your perspective and my perspective does not change the reality or the truth of the situation. And so you should not deploy or employ any strategy or technique that would not allow me as a fellow citizen, as a fellow American, to express my right to my perspective. My perspective does not minimize you, nor should yours minimize mine. We should be free to express ourselves. I honor and respect your opinion and the rights to your prerogative. I simply ask that you afford me and others the same opportunity. If we are both committed to the concept of love and peace, then only good things can happen. If our motivation is anything other than that, then we need to question ourselves. Until we meet again, I wish all of you the best of all days. Peace, love, and understanding.